You know, originally my intention with talking to or using this video from Major Yellow Jacket, I still haven't committed his name to memory. I was actually going to only look at the clip that I saw, but then I actually saw the full video of what he was saying, and I figured I guess we'll just have to do a full-on video response and kind of discuss this topic, both from my own perspective and through a logical refutation of the nonsensory that we will be subjecting ourselves towards. It's actually quite fascinating. Actually, upon my first analysis of this, I recognized something quite interesting, and I'm going to maintain that analysis. So essentially, Major Yellow Jacket here believes that males in general all have some accountability or responsibility to the fear or the disdain that women feel in society, and particularly he specifies black women for some particular, which is strange. I don't know why he believes this about black women, but whatever. And we'll get into it in a wee bit. But you know, essentially, he suggests that males are responsible, or males are accountable, or should be held accountable for all the collective behaviors. It's another video about collectivizing people in groups based on attributes and not based on virtues. And it's quite interesting to me the extent of discourse in society has gone to where people completely ignore actual behavior. They ignore action. They ignore ability. They ignore power even. Power of which to even affect such a thing. And they all just look at, again, just identity, just arbitrary values that no one asked for, no one chose, no one can really functionally or feasibly do anything about, rather than taking a critical look at the actions of what people can do. And as such, we will be going over this, hopefully this time a little bit more time efficiently, because my original video was longer. So we'll see what we get. We're going to let him take us.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Now, the thing about that phrase is just how much the devil is in the details. The devil is found all in this one line right here.
The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
And as such, there is almost nothing left to be discussed beyond that point. Now, clearly there's a runtime, so we're going to be discussing it, but to help you guys understand my point here, if women are talking about the men that have the either courage or disregard, either or, to engage and talk to them and seek out relationships, they're not actually talking about most men, not by a mile, not by a New York minute. Most young men do not simply know how to take rejection. Nay, they expect it. Nay, almost, I would say, to be charitable, 70% of all dating advice, about a good 70% of it, is not how to have a functional relationship of which protects your children in the future from your past mistakes or your future mistakes, or how you love another human being as an end to themselves and how to respect them. Nah, it's really just how men cannot be rejected offhand. That's most dating advice. Whether it's curating a great online internet profile, pictures, getting like professional pictures taken, which is like, Lord have mercy, or whether it's, you know, you're exercising and, you know, and inflating your muscle size and look nice and big and good and juicy and whatnot, you know, it's all really just about how do you minimize, or how do you get past women's first instant check, their instant scouter reading of whether or not they want to be with you or not, right? That's just really what most of it is. It's how do you get past that first rejection, because most men assume that they're going to be rejected, so much so that they have internalized exactly what very many women have said, very many feminists perhaps more accurately have said, which is they don't want to be approached by most men. And in fact, if we are to play this game out feasibly or reasonably, if you are a lady, let's just be real, if whenever you've seen any other lady complain about how they're not being approached, are they asking for fat, unattractive, greasy men? Let's just go to the extreme. When they complain about not being approached, are they Do they imagine some short dweeb with buck teeth? Hey, how you doing? You look really nice. Is that really, or are they saying they're not being approached by the males that they view as attractive? Now, this is important. This is the entirety of it all, by the way. I'm not just saying this to besmirch you because you desire attractive males. It's not my point. My point is that if you acknowledge and understand that what you want is a handsome male of which to come and try to court you, well, my friend, most men do not believe that they fit that bill, and as such, they have internalized exactly what you want from them anyway, which is to not talk to you. So like I said, most men don't talk to women, don't interact with women, don't cold approach women, don't engage with women, don't mess with them at all, because they already believe that they're unworthy. If not unworthy, they believe that the woman's outside of their price range. And if not outside their price range, they believe that they're not that woman's type. Offhand. Now, the reason why I explain all of this is because if most men already accept, understand, and believe to be rejected, who is this commentary for? Well, the answer is actually for women. My friend here, Mr. Yellowjacket, he's not making this video to help men in any regard because he's preaching to the choir. He's not preaching to the choir, he's preaching to the wall. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to the grass. He's talking to a tree. Like, who is this for? And again, it's for women. Because again, if most men already understand that they are to be rejected, as such they don't even try to talk to women, then again, all of this is about the men that women talk to. And as such, if the men that women are interacting with aren't changing, aren't being better, aren't doing anything, then it's a specific type of person you actually need to curate whatever criticism you have. Why? Because you can't put a cast on someone's arm if it ain't broken. Well, I guess you could, but you would be hampering them. You wouldn't be helping them. If you try to repair something that's not damaged, there's an idiom already, right? You can't fix what isn't broken, right? Or, you know what I mean? Don't fix what isn't broken, right? Like, we already have this ancient sage wisdom granted to us by, I don't know, the master of the blue eyes white dragon. Nigga, I don't know where that idiom came from. Let's be real for a moment, though. All kidding aside, this doesn't mean anything for most men. This is pointless. Like, his immediate, as we hit the ground, point here is superfluous. Women aren't interacting with most men. If we were, we wouldn't be having this problem with this conversation to begin with. They're interacting with men that have disregard or that have enough courage to blow past any social convention to engage with them. Most men, again, are not just able to take rejection. They internalize rejection, which means that all of this, I'm not going to say it's women's fault, but their selection bias is at the forefront of their preconceived notions of males. And it's important that that gets called out because, again, you can't put a cast on an arm that isn't broken. You will not be fixing a problem if you try to splash this issue out to all males as a class or concept. It's absurd. Anyhow, we shall continue.
You are accountable for that as well. Because I don't got time to figure out which white people are nice, which white people aren't racist, or da-da-da-da-da. I have to go on the actions of the group.
Now, this is pathetically cowardly, pathetically weak, and just kind of dumbass and gross behavior. I am not going to, for half of a minute, accept the idea that you should mistreat or have a distrust of white people because some white people at any point in time did anything bad. Those white people are a reflection of them, as much as all of the kind, good-hearted white people are a reflection of them. You see, this is stupid. This collectivism nonsensory, this dumbassery, these game we keep playing, ultimately, sometimes isn't even hurting the group of people of whom we have this fear of, because that's what he's describing, mistrust, the fear of. It's not even that it hurts them, but it hurts you. You get hampered if you decide that you don't want to interact with white people. You get hampered if you decide that you're going to disregard and have a disdain for white people unto themselves. There are, look, it's fucking stupid. And it feels just so backwards for me to have to reiterate at any point in time that there are phenomenal white people, some of whom have been my greatest and bestest of friends, There are plenty of white people whom have inspired me, plenty of white people that I've learned from, just from teachers, from fictional characters, even from old writers. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to behave like this. And it doesn't help anyone. And all it really does is just highlight that you're the coward. It doesn't highlight that there's anything wrong with white people, because all of them haven't done this sin that you're afraid of. What it highlights is that there's something wrong with you, because you can't trust them. Because you are the one who's afraid of them. Because you are the one who assumes the worst of them. And my friends, that would apply no matter what group you decide to have. Whether it's white men, black men, white women, black women, this, that. They can be, 6'4", tan, have green eyes, and shoot green energy bolts from their hand. You can't just assume the absolute worst of them. You don't know them. And yes, that was a reference to Starfire. Anyway, continue.
Right. The group as a whole and the history of that group as a whole tells me that they are a danger to me and they are not to be trusted.
Right.
And if you can understand that as a black man and your stance towards white people, then you should absolutely be able to understand women's stance towards you.
My stance towards white people is that they are a part of God's creation on earth. When God made man, he said it was good. Don't assume that white people are villainous because their skin is pale as a ghost. That's funny. That's funny. That made me laugh more than I thought it would. No, but that's ridiculous. That's nasty. And I don't feel that way. And you shouldn't feel that way either. All it does is reveal your own fear and ignorance. It doesn't say anything about white people. By the way, white people in the audience, take heed to what I'm saying and apply that to Negroes too. Maybe this whole black and white game we play is some bullshit.
Man, and your stance towards white people, then you should absolutely be able to understand women's stance towards you.
And therein lies the problem, don't you think? Women assume the absolute worst of males because some different male did a thing to them. How would that help the woman out? I mean, sure, granted, I guess she has eliminated all chance of her ever being hurt, betrayed, or mistreated by a man. But she's also sacrificed all chance, which is greater than, by the way, of her being loved, protected, cared for, and just having a good friend that is a male. To be quite honest with you, the fact that women in the 21st century still can't seem to understand a world where men seem to have some capacity to care about each other, that seem to have some capacity to care about women too. They seem to have some capacity to love and write poetry and do favors for and help and will sacrifice and give their life or protect. For some reason they seem to not be able to interface with the complexity that is a human being. That oh wait, evil people be thing, but good people be thing too. For some reason, it's just male is bad ever, forever, and then every male that not be bad be exception. And it's nonsensical. And again, it just kind of comes back down to, this is a reflection of your fear. It doesn't actually say anything about the group you're afraid of, because everyone in said group cannot possibly be a reflection or encapsulation of whatever trauma you have. It's just not possible. It's just not true, and it's stupid to believe so. And I say it's stupid relating to the definition of the word, as in it's lacking in intelligence. I'm not just saying that to be derogatory. I'm saying that because it is a lack of intelligence to conclude that the class of male, the whole thing, half of the population, bar none any action they did or didn't do, is something that we can hold them accountable for. It's absurd. It's just absurd. It's not feasible to be able to do so, and it just you can't have people pay a price or pay a penance for actions that they didn't take to begin with. That doesn't make, it's not justice. You can't pay the price for something that you didn't do the crime for. This would be like locking up innocent people because some nigga across the nation killed 2 people. That wouldn't make sense. You would never say that that's fine. But for some reason, when it comes to relationships between men and women, then we can do it. Then it's okay. It's not. It's just not.
Mm-hmm. It's not a war on you waged by women. Actually, the war get a little thicker when we start talking about it from the perspective of a woman and the greater society of racism and white supremacy being waged against black people, and then the patriarchal society being waged against women. So they have to deal with two elements. One of those elements we don't have to think about. And honestly, we're perpetuated. And it's perpetuated against us young to look at women as objects.
Right.
You know, to look at women only through the lens of a sexual desire and not as the human being that they are.
And see, this is something that is just so absurd to me. Because this very video in and of itself exists as a reinforcement of the belief structure that males should protect women. This entire video he's making right here, that is absolutely pandering to women. Because again, this only exists for women and to reinforce this belief structure that men are supposed to protect women and venerate women and think highly of women. And I've seen the video already, so I already know he's going to do so in a moment, right? But the fact remains, the fact that he is a participant in the conditioning that males are already a part of is so insane to me that he doesn't realize it. Or maybe he does, and again, this is just pandering, this is just a bunch of bullshit. And he admits to pandering, at least. He thinks that if he just says it in the video that it no longer is pandering, but, you know, whatever. It's kind of, you know, whatever. I guess he thought he could head it off. But here's the thing. While it might be the case that some males absolutely can get to a point where they sexually objectify women, as such is to have a good disregard for their feelings, a good disregard for them as people, desire to only have sex with them, if not even just that, desire only of which to use them. A lot of the time, some of the males that get that way get there from an abundance of women, an influx, too many women being spoiled by them. And a lot of ladies seem to only understand this in retrospect, and they kind of only seem to understand this after they have been used and discarded, never before. And perhaps if this ancient sage wisdom was granted to them before they reinforced this vampire's charisma, well, maybe the world might be a little bit of a better place. Point that I'm making is that, yeah, sure, some of these men exist, but they exist in these extremes of the vile demonic incel of whom is left alone, and the evil lord vampire master of his castle and estate that women always seem to be compelled and flock to. In the middle, you just have a bunch of soldiers, a bunch of knights, warriors, a couple of adventurers who are taught that you go out and you fight monsters in order to protect women, and you earn their favor by being decent to good, great people. Some of these, you know, adventurers, some of these soldiers were taught if you become a paladin, you master light magic, women will like you and appreciate you more. And come to find out that ladies seem to have quite the proclivity for shadow daddies these days. Point that I'm making, with all of my terrible analogies, is that most males are conditioned to protect women and elevate women and think higher of women. Case in point, the very video that you created I'm responding to, you dumbass. It's so insane to me that he made the video and wants to pretend that males are actually conditioned in the complete opposite way while he's a part of the very conditioning. It's insane. Anyway, we'll continue so you guys can see I'm not making this up.
As the human being that they are. And when you understand how to deal with women on a human level, you understand how much women will enrich your life.
Look, I'm not going to act like I'm clairvoyant. I already watched the video. Technically, this is me re-recording it because I didn't like the first cut. Look, listen. I'll say this briefly, or as briefly as I can. Women, in my experience, enrich your life in theory, or they enrich your life based on your own, genjutsu that you cast on yourself when you interact with them. Because when I think about it objectively and in hindsight, I have always been the one that has gone above and beyond, and maybe not perfectly, because to be fair, I'm not perfect. And to be fair, sometimes I do ask of stuff from them. I think back to it and I'm like, God fucking forbid, like I invest all my time and my money into them as people, and then I have the nerve to like ask them to give a damn. Joke's on me, I guess. I don't know. I think about it, and sure, I say so bitterly, but I think it is with this bitterness that I use it as a sword to cut through this nonsense. Mostly so I can help other people not feel the way that I feel, because I don't like it, and I have empathy for the other human beings on Earth. See, the thing is, yeah, sure, maybe women can enrich your life, but they have to be individuals of character that know how to care about you and love you and reciprocate. And to be quite honest with you, I haven't met very many women that enjoy the law of reciprocity, that enjoy the idea that they should care about me as an end to myself. I am the one that goes above and beyond, whether it's money, whether it's favors, whether it's emotional support, whether it's advice, whether it's psychological analysis, whether it's comfort for the fact that they're in a terrible relationship that they're currently in. It's been me who has enriched their lives and tried to make their lives better, while I get thorns and thistles. So this idea, again, is part of the conditioning that we're supposed to believe that women enrich your life, but I'm going to be dead ass with you, without good character, they don't. They will take and take and take and take and take and take and take. And after they've taken from you, they'll blame you for not having more for them to take. And that's why character should be the most important thing you care about when it comes to women, not the fact that they're women. Bearing in mind, I'm not actually saying that you shouldn't talk to women or that they can't be good people. I'm just saying they're not because they're women. That's all I'm saying. Trying to break the conditioning that you are a part of.
A good woman, and you get your good black woman in your corner.
Amen.
Hey, man, you want to see your life turn up?
Hey.
And see, this is the thing, though. It's a privilege, bro. It's a privilege. You know what I'm saying? We often disregard the power of our black women.
This mindset concerns me greatly, right? Again, this is a part of the conditioning. To have a good woman is a privilege, which is to say that it is not something that the unworthy is able to be around, which is the implication. It's not, whether it be the unworthy, right? It's not there's something that would prevent you from being able to be with said good woman, which is the implication. Because again, if it was ubiquitous and normal and just how things should be, no one would think too hard about it. It wouldn't be all this salt and pepper, all this flair. It wouldn't be all of this, just to be quite frank, pandering. And this is why, and a lot of ladies, again, they all love, they just love it. They just drink it. Just drink it all up. Because it's, again, a part of the same conditioning that, ironically, he pretends doesn't exist. Which is, women are special, amazing, and they must be protected. And to have one in your life is, if not a validation piece, it's a privilege. It's a mark of greatness. It's grace granted upon you if you have, particularly a black woman in your life. Again, women are going to eat that up because it's free gas. It's free gas. Just puff them up. But the reality is that no person in your life is good unto themselves, right? It's all about their character. It's all about how much they, let's just be frank, love you. How respectable they are. How much they care. How much they give, and how much you then feel inspired to return to them is what really should mark a good relationship with someone. Not just a black woman. And don't get me wrong, I love black women, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that just having one is great. That's nonsense. But more than it's nonsense, it's the same conditioning that even gets us here with the beginning of the video to begin with. But anyway, let's see if I can wrap this up.
The spiritual essence that they're gonna bring to things, the knowing, the seeing, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on, bro. They mastered the Sharingan too. Hold on, not really. Let's see if I can do this. It's not even the Sharingan. No. They got the seeing, the discernment. Come on, bro. Get out of here, dude. It's too much glaze, bro. You're doing too much.
Now, how often are women just having a good time, and here come a nigga trying to ruin their fun?
Yeah, but is it really him trying to ruin them, or is he trying to have fun with her? Stupid. If a dude is coming to spit game, even, here's the thing. even if he accepts the script of hookup culture, he has absorbed the non-sensory that is the sexual revolution, and he accepts that sex is a laissez-faire action of which is to be done by just consenting adults. It's just fun, happy time. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's nothing more to it. No strings attached. It's just fun. Let's say he accepts all that. If that is the case, why are we going to pretend that him trying to give this lady some strokes that would pleasure her too? Because for some reason they love the Schrodinger's like sexual enjoyer, which sounds like a mouthful, but really is essentially just me making fun of the concept that a lot of women, not all of them obviously, simultaneously say that they should be able to engage in sex and be liberal and free, and they like sex and they enjoy it, and it's fun to be a slut. But also, they don't like having sex with the vast majority of men, or they don't like having sex with men at all. Lots of men are really bad at having sex with them. So it's like, well, what the flip is it? What the flip is it? And because they're in this box and you don't know the woman yet, you don't know what you're going to get. They exist in this state where they get to pretend that sex is this fun activity that you can just do, but it's done with men they don't like. And when men come to proposition them to do the fun thing that they can just do, they're actually bad men. Look, bro, I'm just not going to accept that males come up to spit game to women from this demonic desire to just ruin their fun time. You can miss me. That's bullshit. They clearly want to have sex with them, or they want to have a relationship with them. They want to actually get to know them. The truth of the matter is, like, there's a spectrum, right? Like, we don't know what we want just yet, or we know exactly what we want when we try to approach it to begin with. It's like that. Which I know it sounds like well, no, it's a spectrum. Again, like, we either know what we want, or we're not sure. And sometimes it's like, you know, it's in there. It's in between there, right? But it's not like, I'm just going to come mess you up. First of all, all game, all dating advice, all of it is about men being attractive on the front end, displaying a fun, flirty personality, being nice to look at, so any dude that ingratiates himself in the attempt to self-improve and become worthy of being with a female is not that guy to begin with. If you're just talking about just some nigga, hey yo bruh, what you doing dawg bruh, like, hey yo mama, why don't you come over here though bruh. First of all, there are plenty of black women who would rather have that than, hello starshine, the earth says hello.
Pandering. But if I was up here caping for white women, you wouldn't even mention that word. If I was up here caping for Hispanic women, you wouldn't even call it pandering.
Yeah, evidently you haven't met your intellectual superior, someone that has principles and standards. Because I would just say, yeah, it wouldn't matter if you said that about Indian women, Latino women, if you said that about women from Puerto Rico, you say that about Asian women, you could say it about any group. I don't really give a damn. You could say it about white women too. I would say you're very clearly pandering. You're blowing a whole bunch of smoke up their butt. You're saying that just their mere presence in your life is great, and you're also implying that all men have to be held accountable and protect women and do a thing to keep women safe from the fact that there are bad men who aren't you doing bad things that make them feel uncomfortable. And then you liken all of this to the way that black people should feel about white people, which I reject and I disrespect wholeheartedly. It is a mindset of fear and paranoia, and it doesn't do anything good for anybody. Here's the thing. My original intention with this video was actually to look at the clip and kind of talk about the concept, but then I kept watching it and I just went into a full-blown thing. I really wanted to do some comparing and contrasting with multiple different clips of other ladies saying different things, but you know, we'll probably get back to that at some point soon anyway, because this whole thing is so sad and painful, and people don't realize that all you're really doing is just creating a mental prison for yourself that hurts you, and then by extension hurts other people. Fear and paranoia is the name of the game here. Mistrust. You encourage black people or black males to mistrust white people because of something other white people did in the past. It's ridiculous. It's not fair. It's not right. In the same way, you can't encourage women that they should be afraid of men because some other man that's not them did something. in a different state or like city or whatever. Who the flip knows where it happened? Who even cares? The truth is, bad things happen to people, sure. Women might encounter goofy goobers, sure. Some women will never be approached a day in their life. So it's not even fair to pretend that this is the universal experience for women to begin with, because there are plenty of women that never get talked to. And lots of people seem to always forget about those women, whether they be fat, whether some women are just so pretty they just scare everyone off. There's lots of women that don't even realize how attractive they are because no one flipping talks to them, right? Or whether they're too skinny and just weird and awkward looking. Or some women that have social anxiety that just like, they wish someone would interact with them, but no one does. No one tries to court them. I reject the notion, due to my experience talking to very many women who are like that, by the way, that this idea that we should demonize males for the crime of trying to interact with women sexually, of trying to talk to them, trying to court them, is even something wrong to begin with. Like, sure, is there a wrong way to do it? Well, yeah, of course. Like, you shouldn't be untoward. You shouldn't be rude. It's ridiculous to be crass. But the idea that we're supposed to hold a whole groups accountable because some other person was crass is not fair. People cannot pay the debt for things they didn't do. You can't have a dweeb that's never talked to a woman pay the debt of some dickhead that was rude and crude and crass to a woman. He can't fix that. He can't even fix the trauma the woman has. He was never a participant. How is it reasonable? It's not reasonable. It's not fair, and it's not right. And all this really does is just exist as another layer, another brick onto the social conditioning of trying to get men to not only overvalue women, but also try to protect women by forcing a behavior that doesn't even actually address the actual people who are the cause or the participants of said behavior. This does nothing for no one. Well, sure, it makes young ladies feel good when someone just tells them they're great because they be and they should be insulated and protected because they be. Sure, it makes them feel good temporarily, but it doesn't make them stronger. It doesn't make them better. It doesn't make them kinder. It doesn't give them any sense of empathy for the plight and the degree of rejection they gave to young men. This does nothing significant for anyone. And it's this type of fear and paranoia bullshit that needs to be called out and addressed and fought against. The world will not become a better place between men and women if we keep accepting that we're supposed to punish wholesale groups for things that a minority are doing. Again, we have this whole dumbass male loneliness thing, which really would just be human loneliness because women make up the other half of civilization. And if men are lonely, then how are women not lonely? Doesn't even make sense, whatever. We have all of that, and yet somehow those men are supposed to be held accountable for all of the douchebags? Ios Muse. God almighty, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This does nothing. And to the yellow jacket dumbass who made the original video I responded to begin with, you're weak-minded. And if you perpetuate this, you encourage other people, particularly women, to continue to be weak-minded. You should pray for the strength to overcome the things that challenge you and bother you. You should not give complacency to fear and paranoia. That goes for any fear or paranoia you have for white people as much as it goes for the same fear and paranoia any black woman, white woman, purple woman, tan woman, green woman has for any male in her life. I'm not saying bad things don't happen, but you have to overcome them for your sake. Not even just anyone else's, but for your sake. You have to overcome them, because all that's left is just you being sad and angry and paranoid and filled with anxiety for nothing. For nothing. You make your life harder for nothing. So I can't heal you with one video, but hopefully I can trigger you and wake you up so you start looking for the resources to help yourself get healed. With that being said, I certainly hope you guys got something out of today's video. And if you did, I don't know, man. Go ahead and click the like button. Shoot, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I did that wrong. Anyway, comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.